Hi everyone, welcome to your readings as a full outlook for Aries season. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all had a wonderful equinox. You made the most of the full moon, and hopefully a number of us are feeling just a little bit lighter by now. Obviously it is Aries season. There's still a lot of Pisces out there at the moment. There will be for a while. It takes a while this year for all the planets to sort of move into Aries. So at the moment, obviously, there's still that bit of sort of illusion and confusion out there, but things hopefully should become a bit easier now, and we should be able to move a bit more smoothly. And it is the new astrological year, so hopefully we're all going to get off to the new year in a good way. Hi, Ms. Kim. Hi, Philippa. Hi, Joyous Day. I'm doing good, thank you. Just about dealing with a few things that have come up, but I'm okay. Glad to see all of you here. Obviously, anyone else joining, please say hi in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. I hope you're all doing well at the moment as well. So I'm going to start off in a moment by looking at the collective picture for Aries season, and then I'll move on and move through the 12 signs and give us an idea of what sort of month is ahead of us. So we're looking at big themes. These are predictive readings as well. So if they don't resonate immediately, they're not necessarily supposed to. This is a month that we're coming up to here. So see how this plays out for you. Hi, Sally A. So for the collective, I'm going to be using the Deviant Moon Tarot, which I've been using a lot of recently. I came into my life a couple of weeks ago. So for the collective picture for Aries season 2019. And please let me know how you've all been doing, how you've started the new year. I'm hoping you're all doing well. So cards for the collective for Aries season. And please remember to like the video if you're here as well. That helps us a huge amount. Okay. Okay, so we're not exactly getting off to a bang necessarily. I feel that there's stuff that we're letting go of at the moment. I feel that some of us are still in that stage. We're still sort of waving goodbye to some things, some hurts that have been around us. And I feel like we're seeing some other people around us who've still been hurting as well. There's still stuff that we're working through. And that kind of makes sense because obviously we're still in a Mercury retrograde. It is a fairly big one. It's still got 6 days to go, and then Mercury finally moves direct and makes its own way towards Pisces over a bit of time, over towards Aries over a bit of time. But at the moment, there's still a bit of hurt in the air, and I feel there's a need to look out for each other. So we have the 6 of Pentacles coming up, and we also have the 3 of Swords coming up. So there is this sense in which some people are a bit still having a bit of grief. There's a bit of grieving to do. Some of that stuff still hanging around, hasn't quite been released. And there's a sense in which some of us are sort of pushing that down a bit, and looking at what we can do for others with the 6 of Pentacles. So we're looking out for other people who might still be struggling a bit, grieving a bit, but we're not necessarily taking account of our own at times. And there is a need to be doing that as well at this time. And I feel that us not fully taking ownership of that and working through that stuff might slow us up a bit. And I feel that we have to allow ourselves to have our own process at this time. And therefore, you don't have to, you know, go charging out of the blocks if you're not ready to. There's a bit of recovery going on. There's a bit of recovery going on that needs to happen because I feel that a number of us are clearing some old stuff out. I feel in particular we're clearing some old stuff out that regards relationships, that maybe regards old pain in relationships, regards people who've hurt us, anything like that. And maybe just trying to almost gather things and recover. I feel like coming into this, there's been a lot of thinking, a lot of thinking, a lot of talking, a lot of thinking, a lot of talking. And there's just this processing going on at the moment. So while the Three of Swords is still there, it's not prominent. There's just stuff that needs to be fully felt and released. But I feel like we're coming to the end of that cycle. And we're in this space where we are looking to help each other, look out for each other, lift each other up at times with the Six of Pentacles. So we've moved away from the space of the Knight of Swords, of sort of overthinking, fast thinking, this kind of thing. And now with the Four of Swords, we're just sort of feeling our way through it a bit. Feeling our way through it, but there's still some stuff that has to be released, and it's okay to allow ourselves to do that. I feel this is a process that we're going through that is going to open us up, either to new love or to being open to rejuvenating existing loves. And this doesn't have to just be relationships. This can be with friends, it can be with family, it can be a more general, loving, heartfelt outlook that we move into. But I feel that a lot of us are just not quite there yet. But we will be as the month goes on. We head towards this space of the Page of Cups. So we're heading towards a more open space, a more loving space, a space in which we can see the best in each other, see the beauty in each other. And I feel that some of us are trying to do that with the Six of Pentacles, is make it clear to other people that we value them. There can be gift giving, there can be offering help, this kind of thing. But it's going to become more flowy and more easy as time goes on throughout this month, as we move toward this space of the Page of Cups. So I feel that some people may start new relationships later in the month, or might at least just be open to that, where maybe you haven't fully been open before because there is still stuff that you're working through. And some of us are going to sort of connect with existing people in deeper ways or in new ways. And that's hopefully going to be a very, very nice development for us. But we only get to that if we allow ourselves that rest and that chance to work through what's still there. You can't rush these things. I know it's Aries season, but you can't rush these things. Go at your own pace. Stay with your own process. Don't feel under any pressure to do anything that you're not ready for yet, because that will flow in time. You don't have to push yourself any harder than that. Be kind to yourself and ensure those around you are being kind to themselves where possible as well. That's where we're at collectively. I'm going to take a look now and see where the 12 signs are going to be at this month. But that's sort of the general picture. That's the backdrop. If you're not being affected that badly, then look out for those who are, with the Six of Pentacles. Ensure that you're lifting up people who are kind of struggling. Don't expect other people who are struggling to just deal with it by themselves. It's important, if you're in a better place, to be offering a bit of help, but stay with you and prioritize your own process as well at this time. So moving on to the 12 signs, and the first sign up is going to be Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. So Aries, the sun has entered your sign. It's your time of year. It's traditionally your time to shine. It's traditionally the time when you start to set the agenda and the pace for us. Doesn't mean you have to feel under pressure to if you're not ready, but hopefully it's giving you a bit of life, a bit of oomph. Let's have a look. Aries. 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 Okay, Aries. Okay, Aries. Okay, Aries, I feel that even though this is your season, you might not be fully focused on what you can be doing. I feel that there's a lot of warmth you can bring to other people's lives at the moment, and a fair bit of warmth you can show yourself, and other people can also show warmth to you. But you may be a bit down in the dumps at the moment. You might be a bit down in the dumps. You might be looking backwards, or just kind of not even looking backwards, but just sort of a bit spacey, sort of lost in your own ideas, in yourself, in your feelings a bit. And it's okay to be in your feelings, but you might just be replaying some old sort of ways of doing things there, old patterns of thinking and feeling that are not really current, but just sort of feel comfortable and nice, like an old sweater or whatever, but they're not really what you want them to be. So that's the Four of Cups, or Dancer 4, coming up for you in your conscious space. And that also, I feel, means that you might be sort of missing the connections you can be making at the time, the people you can be offering warmth to, the people you can be connecting with. And that isn't necessarily what's going to suit you. Now, underpinning this, you do have the Eight of Pentacles. So part of you really wants to emerge, wants to come out of the winter into the springtime, start to grow, start to blossom, show something new, and be able to share that. But you have to allow that to happen. You have to allow yourself out of that old way of doing things. I feel a lot of you are quite lost a little bit in sort of those old patterns, and you're not allowing yourselves to truly feel your way into what is a new year and into what can be your time. So you have Pan, or the devil, showing up. And I feel that with Pan here, a lot of this is just being lost in those old ways of doing things. Things that you feel committed to, things that you might have sort of convinced yourself are who you are, that you have to go through things in this way, and you're not allowing much space for that to change. And yeah, there's maybe just a little bit of sort of, you know, just being lost in your feelings a bit. But with strength coming up, there's a need to just sort of get on top of things, take a bit of control at this time, Aries. Be able to kind of push and force your way forward and force your way through. And that doesn't mean that your feelings don't matter, but some of those feelings are not current, and they're not even relevant anymore. It's almost like you go back to the matter of familiarity. And so you need to step away from that and more towards your own power, what you want to do, giving yourself the space to emerge with the Eight of Pentacles, because I feel you can make a lot of progress this year if you do so. I feel there is huge, huge potential there. And it's time to sort of like come out of the ground and start to do that. Your final card is the Warrior Princess. So there really is a need for you, Aries, in particular, to start to set the agenda, to show the way. It means being quite bold. It means being communicative. And I feel it means just helping other people up out of their winter slumber as well. It means kind of moving towards them, embracing them, dancing with them, reassuring them, hugging them, cuddling them. I feel you have these kind of roles, but I feel you'll also help and encourage people and maybe help them go and do new things. Encourage them to do new things, maybe accompany them as well, because I feel you can move into that space of boldness. And I feel that when you do that, actually, the stuff that you're sort of caught up in sort of drops away because it's not really current. I don't want to say self-involved, but it's just not very current. It's not very relevant to where you are now. And it's just kind of something you're doing out of familiarity. But you have an absolute space here to move into something more. And that is kind of your task for this month, Aries, is to get going and help other people to get going. You don't need to be caught up in stuff and keep replaying stuff in your mind or in your feelings when it's actually kind of passed by. I hope that makes sense to you. The next sign is going to be Taurus. Hi to everyone just tuning in. If you're here, please say hi in the chat, and please remember Please remember to like the video and share the video. Thank you. So Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising for Aries season. Taurus. 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 Okay, Taurus. Oh, wow, Taurus. Okay. Okay, you have hurt about you as well. This is a common theme at the moment. I feel that this does connect to Mercury still being in retrograde, but there's some real hurt about you at the moment, Taurus. And you're kind of, it's like you're trying to dry your eyes and get on with things. But you might need to just feel that, at least to an extent. Let it out. Talk about it. Express it. Write some poetry. Journal. Paint. Draw. Whatever is going to allow you to express at the moment, I feel, because I feel you don't want to stuff this stuff down, Taurus, and I feel that you're trying to be a bit stronger than is necessary at this time. So your first card is the Five of Cups. So you are kind of very much in your feelings. You're very much just working through what you've lost, what you've let go of, maybe things that didn't work out. Things that didn't work out and you felt they would, and they just sort of fell away, and you're in a difficult place. You're in a difficult place. And below it, oh, you're feeling quite lonely. With the Ten of Swords, you're quite lonely. Quite lonely. And I feel that you have to allow yourself to feel these things. You really have to allow yourself to feel these things. And I feel that you have to allow yourself to accept help and support with these things from other people. I feel that rather than allow yourself to accept help and support with other people and talk about this stuff and express it, you're wiping your eyes, you're keeping a straight face, but then it might start to come out as you're just a bit agitated and aggravated, and you might become a bit confrontational with people as a result of that. And that's not wonderfully healthy. So you have the Nine of Wands showing up there, the Guardian, and I feel it's yourself that you're guarding. And I feel that you also feel that you're guarding other people from your feelings, your disappointments, potentially that bit of loneliness as well, or that bit of just feeling quite exposed. So there's some raw stuff within you. There's some raw stuff within you, but I feel that you have to open to connection, because I feel there are people who will support you if you ask for that at this time. There are people who will support at the moment, but you need to be open to that. And you need to be working through it, not closing off to it. So coming up for you, then we have the Dancer Princess, or the Princess of Cups. So you have this need to express. Don't hide your feelings away. Don't stuff them down. Don't bury them down. If you're hurting, you're hurting. And the problem is that if you stuff them down, you actually stay in that place for longer rather than working through it. But there's space to open yourself to people and to connect, and then you won't be so confrontational. I feel like a lot of you feel like sharing that stuff, opening up about that stuff at this time is a big risk. You feel it's a huge risk, and that's why you're not doing it. But I feel you have that need to lower your barriers, express this stuff, and that is talking to people, but it's also, I feel, poetry, I feel writing, I feel drawing, painting, anything that allows you to express fully. And if you're sad, be sad and make something sad. Make something that shows your sadness. But work with the other emotions as well, because it's more complex than that, and I know it is. But open yourself to that, because as you open yourself to that, I feel that you will strengthen your connection to yourself and to other people. I feel you'll move more into a place of self-love. And that then leads you to a space of the lovers. And I feel with the lovers here, this is about you braving your own feelings, your own emotion, working with that fire, not avoiding the fire, but stepping across it, feeling whatever you need to, and sharing it then with the Dancer Princess. And the Dancer Princess corresponds to the Page of Cups, which is where we all head towards. So we all need to become more expressive and open. And this is your part of it, Taurus. You don't have to deal with all your hurts by yourself or pretend that they're not really affecting you. You don't have to keep a straight face at all times. Be open, and that will allow you then to move through this space of emotional hurt, grief, even loss. And then you won't quite feel so alone either, because deep down, when you close yourself off like this, you're winding up feeling quite alone. And that's unnecessary at this time for you, Taurus. I feel there are people who support you, and I feel just getting this stuff out is going to help you a great deal. I hope that makes sense to you. The next sign is going to be Gemini. Hi, Teresa. Hi to everyone else who's tuning in. Hi, Trisha. So next up is Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Gemini. 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 Hi, Pearl. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, Gemini. Okay, Gemini. Oh, Gemini. I mean, wow. I mean, I did say that underpinning this for the collective at the moment is the Three of Swords, and I'm getting a really strong sense of this as I go through, and it doesn't necessarily feel that always that deep, but there's something very painful that a lot of us are still dealing with and working through at this time. So, Gemini, your first card is the Three of Swords. It's the Three of Swords. So you're feeling like you're missing something, like something's gone. Something's gone. It's painful. It's very, very painful. And it's almost like you're kind of resigned to it. And I'm feeling like you're getting hurt in contact with other people. You're getting hurt in your communications with other people. You're talking to other people, but not feeling heard, not feeling understood. You're feeling like you have to explain yourself again and again just for people to listen. That's putting a bit of strain on you. It's putting a bit of strain on you, and it's getting in the way of the other things that you want to do. It's making you feel less confident. It's making you feel less assured. It's making you doubt your own successes and the things that you have put in place. So that's a difficult position for you. Underpinning the Three of Swords, we have the King of Cups. I feel that you're hurting, but I also feel like you're not necessarily letting that show on the surface either, Gemini. You're feeling this sort of need to divert a bit, or to sort of almost move into this sort of weird sort of place of transference, where rather than be able to share and work through your stuff, you're taking on other people's stuff at the moment, Gemini. With the Six of Pentacles, you might be reaching out to help other people, but you might not be looking after yourself first. And that might destabilize you a bit. It might put you in a bit more pain. It might make you feel like no one wants to help you. But I feel that there's an extent to which you're not truly open to help because you convince yourself other people need it more. You convince yourself other people need it more. And with the King of Pentacles as well as the King of Cups, you're in this space where you're sort of trying to come off as more together, more assured than you actually are. I feel that you can stabilize, Gemini, but I feel that you have to be really, really open in order to do so. It does mean admitting where you're hurting. It does mean not trying to force yourself into a false sense of stability. I feel there's a truer sense of stability that you can reach and adopt. That also means being open about the things that are bothering you, are getting to you, are hurting you, because those are there across the board at the moment. So it's not just you. I feel that you might need to take a little step back from the things that you've worked on so intently, from working so hard to offer things to other people, because there's a need to restabilize. That means coming back to yourself. With the Emperor, it's very, very important that you come back to yourself. Maybe protect your own gains, your own needs, protect your energy. You don't need to be giving your energy away so easily at this time, Gemini. And I feel some of you are doing that. That doesn't mean that you can't show love, offer love, or anything like it. But I feel that if you protect your own energy, then you move into this more healing space, excuse me, of the Four of Swords. Allows things to happen over time. With the Four of Swords, you work with the energy of the Emperor. With the energy of the Emperor, you then grow stronger, more capable, because you're offering your energy to yourself first of all, and that has to be the most important thing. If you do that, I actually feel you start to open yourself more and more over time and become a bit more receptive and open, because you're looking after yourself first and foremost. And then other people can come to you, and they can come to you and they can offer love. So I mentioned that the collective opens to love. And I feel that you can open to love and deeper connection that way as well, because you have the Prince of Cups showing up, Gemini, in your outcome position. So I feel that there is a chance for you to be open to new or deeper connections, both romantic ones, but also platonic ones, and just generally within your life. But it needs you to stop giving yourself away like this. Stop giving yourself away, denying the things that are still hurting, getting to grips with them, and allowing yourself to be able to focus on yourself first of all, and then in time to allow other people to come in and show how much they care for you. You don't have to keep giving yourself away so easily, Gemini. I hope that makes sense to you for this month. Coming up next is going to be Cancer. Hi, LV7095LV. So next up is Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Remember, everyone, these are predictive readings, so this is kind of the overarching theme and work for the month. So you'll get there. You can work through this over that month, but the clearer we set our intentions, the easier this becomes. So Cancer. Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising for Aries season. Cancer. Okay, Cancer. So I mentioned that normally Aries take charge at this time of year. I feel like at this time you're trying to take charge, Cancer. You're kind of sort of trying to be sort of up and at them and be like the cheerleader, the assertive one, the one who shows the way. I also feel like you're another sign that is still dealing with quite a high level of anxiety and is trying to cloak that through that level of action and assertiveness and surface optimism, this kind of thing, Cancer. But the first card showing up for you is the Nine of Swords. So with the Nine of Swords, you're pushing yourself really hard. You try not to let your fears get the better of you. However, you may also be exposing yourself a little unnecessarily and not dealing with the things that are hurting you. And obviously, I did pull the Three of Swords for the collective, and we all have a bit of this. And I'm feeling so much of this is like the end of the Mercury retrograde cycle, especially because these keep being swords that are showing up. So these are thoughts and beliefs that we hold and patterns of them around hurt or around ourselves, or the things that we've told ourselves that we're afraid of, their anxieties. It's these kind of things that are normal within the Mercury retrograde, and they force us to slow down a bit. And with all of these swords showing up, and you're no different, Cancer, with the Nine of Swords, and there's more to come, this is the sense that I get. So you can encourage people, absolutely. Absolutely. But you might be a little afraid of something as well. I feel that with the Prince of Pentacles deep down, you're a bit anxious about how it all fits together, how you get where you're going. There's a little bit of a lack of trust and confidence and faith in the universe. And so you're trying to force the issue. You're trying to force the issue, and you're kind of like, well, I have to put this in with justice. I have to put this in order for things to be positive. But with justice, actually, I feel that this is a mixture of what's bright and what's more obscured, and you have to be working with both of those camps. So you have to be working with both of those, and where there are sort of fears and anxieties, you have to be working through them as well. The Seven of Swords shows up for you, and my main message here is that you're not letting anyone down by doing some work on yourself, by prioritizing your own needs, by not being the go-getter all the time if you don't feel able to be. It's okay for you to slow down and take a rest as well, Cancer. Things will move in their own time. Remember, the Prince of Pentacles is quite slow moving, quite diligent. So you don't have to rush to get where you're going, Cancer. And you're not letting anyone down by looking after yourself rather than insisting on going and helping everyone else. That help can be offered where you have the capacity for it. But your first commitment has to be to yourself. Now, your final card is the Six of Swords. So with the Six of Swords, I feel that this is still a time for you to reflect and dive into yourself that bit and just get a sense of what your thoughts and feelings are telling you. Don't attach to them, don't judge them, but witness them observe them, follow where that's taking you, and sort of try to understand this pattern where you might avoid that because you want to protect everyone else, take charge for everyone else. This is where you take a step back from that and you balance that out with also looking after yourself and kind of remembering that this is still a process for you. It's totally a process for you, and you'll get where you're going. But I feel like at the moment you're being motivated a bit by that fear and anxiety. And part of that is, if I don't do this, what's going to happen? If I don't help them, what's going to happen? And at times you sort of step back from that a bit and accept that you can't keep pushing yourself that hard, Cancer. I hope that makes sense to you, because I feel there's real insight there for you if you do step back, focus on yourself a bit, and allow things to fit together and make sense and balance out. Hi, Gypsy Roses. So the next sign is going to be Leo. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. For Aries season. So I feel like the main message so far is that if you still have some stuff going on that you're working through, you're very much not alone with that, but we can help each other out here. Just remember to prioritize yourself where you can. And it's going to move us somewhere much better over time as well. Leo. 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 Okay, Leo. Hi, Ladybug. Okay. Wow. Okay. You're pushing forward really hard, Leo. I can see you really going at it, trying to force your way through, out of the blocks, through everything. You're also another sign with the Three of Swords showing up, Leo. So again, there is this sense of just, I don't feel like your area of loss is recent. It's something old that something's come up in relation to. And you're kind of like, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. And I'm going to go out and do this. I'm not getting pulled back into this. Not again. I'm done with this. I've dealt with this. It's done. That's the sense that I get with you, Leo, with the Three of Swords. So you're pushing your way through it, pushing on through it. Now, what's interesting to me is that you have that old stuff coming up and it's making you doubt stuff, and you're getting up and out there. And you're getting up and out there because, Leo, you're also falling in love with someone at the moment. This is quite strong. You have really strong feelings for someone at the moment. You're feeling a really strong connection. And it's almost like you don't want to admit your hurts too much, even though they're right there and prominent. And your hurts are kind of maybe affecting your ability to connect to them as much as you would want to. You have the Ace of Cups showing up, Leo. And you have the Two of Cups showing up as well. So there is this promising new connection coming in. There's a promising new connection coming in. But there's maybe an old hurt that you haven't fully processed. You're like, okay, I'm not letting that affect me. I'm not letting that affect me. It's not happening again. But I feel you can connect to this new person, but you also need to take some time to just work through and release that old stuff. And it feels like an old tie, an old bind, an old bond. And you might want to do some cord cutting work or something similar, because I feel you need to release that old pain so as you can connect to this person in a much, much deeper way. I feel this can be a really deep love and romance, Leo. But what's holding you back from it, even though I feel the feelings are there, you're not allowing yourself to go after it because you have this old hurt to release. Somebody in the past who you feel took a piece of you away with them. What's that? And you can work with this, meditate, scan your body, scan for the part of you, the cord or the attachment is still attached to that previous person. And then work on cutting through that or releasing it, removing it, because that opens up the space for you to connect in a much deeper way to this person around you who you have a lot of strong feelings for, Leo. You have the Four of Pentacles coming up. And with the Four of Pentacles coming up here, I feel that is also, that's take time for your own healing. Take time for yourself. Don't push yourself harder than you're able to, but take time to really deal with that stuff. Because it's really going to help you. Okay, so I don't feel like you're being greedy or self-centered or self-absorbed by doing that. I feel like it's necessary. I feel like it's necessary, and I feel it's a key component in strengthening your connection with this person who's come into your life. Because your final card is Temperance. So this tells me that this becomes a stronger relationship, a stronger bond over time. But it only becomes a stronger bond over time if you release what's old and take care of yourself, Leo. You don't need to put on the brave face. You don't need to pretend to be anyone other than yourself. This is somebody you can connect to really, really well. I feel you're protected in the work that you're doing here as well. But there's just that stuff to release. And when you do, Leo, when you do, this can be so beautiful and so wonderful. And your level of trust towards the person who you're meeting and feeling for at the moment can get so much stronger, so much deeper. This feels absolutely huge for you. And that's one of the reasons why you owe it to yourself to deal with what's still hanging around and affecting you from the past. I hope that makes sense to you, Leo. Big chance for new love for you this month, Leo. You have to work through something to get to it. The next sign is going to be Virgo. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Thank you, Teresa. Hi, Ladybug. I feel that there are many methods of releasing, and there's not a one-size-fits-all. So there are some people who will work shamanically and really work on pulling that stuff out of you. Other people will work in more sort of traditional psychotherapeutic ways, which involves really getting down to those feelings, not being scared of them, finding the parts of us that we really struggle with, that we bury, and starting to relate to them, start to love them. Some people will do cord cutting work that I've mentioned. Some people will conduct various rituals, and this can also involve working out these things, getting them on paper, burning them. There's kind of a huge range of things, and I wouldn't ever suggest a one-size-fits-all for everyone, because I feel everyone has slightly different needs around it. But once you know what it is that you're holding down or hiding or burying, why it is, then you can start that work. And it's not straightforward or quick, but some of that stuff can be taken. There's also transmutation methods various transmutation methods. I work with the violet flame and I work with the white fire as well. I've been doing a lot of that work recently. I find that to be quite useful. But there's a number of different things, essentially, and I wouldn't want to restrict it in that sense. I'm not a psychotherapist, so I can't really, I'm not the strongest advisor on that. And if you want to get really deep into the shadow and stuff, then you can look at like Jung's The Red Book and things like that, which is like, that's his entire subconscious laid out. But some of these things are really, really useful exercises that can be worked with. Various tools, essentially, various energies, various deities, various angels. You know, I can't really like point people towards one thing because it has to be what's right for you as well and what connects to your own belief system. But the main thing here is not repressing, it's allowing yourself to do the work and to feel. Next up is Virgo. Because I appreciate that you know, this isn't straightforward for most of us. You know, a lot of us are carrying old or complex trauma, and it takes time to work through it. I mean, I can say that there's a release need, and there is. And at this time, it's probably easier to release than it might have been in the past. Like there's, you know, you're clearing karma, you're doing various other things with it, but it doesn't have to be arduous. It doesn't have to take forever necessarily. But you need to find what's right for you. But consciousness of what's coming up is important. You have to allow that process to go on. Like, because some people undertake healing work and then something comes flying up, because it does, because these things come out in layers, and that scares you, and you start to stuff it back down, and the process halts, and you can't do that. It's really, really complicated. I'm obviously happy to work with anyone individually around some of this, give pointers, let them know what's coming through from, you know, when I'm reading for them. Obviously, it's more difficult to do in a kind of live video, but I'm going to bring up what I can, obviously. And these are our themes for the month. You know, I can't say much deeper than that. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season 2019. Hi, Mahari. So Virgo. Okay, Virgo. Thank you, Virgo. You're in a slightly better place than the one I've pulled for so far, so this is encouraging for you. I feel that you have been resting, kind of dealing with stuff, but certainly resting, allowing things to work their way through your system, and that is as important as anything else. You can't just push yourself, anyone. So Virgo has got some rest. Virgo's got some rest, and now it's kind of like you're just sort of having a stretch, getting ready to move outwards, getting ready to connect to people, to do new things, start on new projects. And it feels like you can be guiding a lot of other people through their stuff at the moment as well, Virgo. That can be more your role. I feel like this is a big spell of development for you. So your first card is the Princess of Pentacles. So you're moving into a space where you're feeling quite creative, ready to do new things, learn new things, take new things on. I also feel like you're not in a rush with them. You're quite patient. Just as importantly, it's coming from a place of self-love with the Two of Cups. So underpinning this is a deep self-love and love for other people as well. And therefore, the light is just starting to come into your life, Virgo, at this time. The light is coming into your life. And that is really, really helping you. I feel it's been a learning experience for you as you work through stuff. With the elder, traditionally the Hierophant showing up, you're now in this space where you're kind of open to other people coming to you for a bit of help and advice. You're feeling closer connections generally, and you're feeling creative. And this is a really, really good combination of things. And I feel that you're feeling creative, and therefore there are new projects that you're working on and existing projects that you're building on over time as well. And that is really going to be beneficial to you and others. I feel you're becoming patient and independent with the Nine of Pentacles. And I feel that therefore this starts a very exciting year for you, Virgo. I feel that things are coming to fruition for you. So all that rest, all that work you've been doing, it's not been for nothing. And you're actually potentially further along than you give yourself credit for as well. Your final card is Judgment. So I feel you're getting ready to share this with the world. You're getting ready to move on, move up, take on new challenges, new ways of doing things. Your wisdom leads you here, Virgo. You've grown so much. And I feel that you can now connect to other people and help them to sort of move onwards and upwards as well in a gentle way. But I feel that's a huge area of progress for you, Virgo. And I feel that because I say you're further along than you feel you are, you don't have to redo everything now. A lot of stuff is in place. You can pick it up, work with it, go with it, move on it, and move on to a new level. You have that wisdom, you have that gained experience. You're not going to lose that now. And through that, you're in a strong place to offer love and support to other people. And I hope that makes sense to you, Virgo. The next sign is going to be Libra. 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 Hi, Janine. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Hi, La Luna. I'm reading your comments, Ladybug. I mean, you're talking about almost like a whole series of classes almost on all of that stuff, but there's an awful lot to be going on there. I don't currently teach. It's something I may do in the future. Libra. Libra. Hi, Sarah Pearl, if I haven't said hi already. Okay, Libra. Okay. Back into it then, back into this kind of theme that we're seeing for the collective. So Libra, you're all up in your thoughts. You're all up in your thoughts, and a lot of your thoughts are ones looking at what you feel you've lost. They're looking at hurt. They're looking at you struggling to find the way forward, and you're feeling stuck. You're feeling really stuck, Libra. You're feeling really stuck, and you're kind of not quite prepared to give in to it, but you might need to for a bit. I don't feel like things are going to move for you just yet. And there's a big danger of getting all up in your thoughts over it and maybe giving yourself a hard time. And there needs to be a bit of time to rest and recover and work through it, Libra. Your first card is the Prince of Swords. So this is you being very much full of thoughts, full of ideas. A lot of them are not great ones, because underpinning it is the Five of Cups. So you're sort of looking back quite sorrowfully. You might be feeling a little sorry for yourself, Libra. This feels not ideal. It feels like you're kind of seeing things disappear out of your life, or there are things that disappeared out of your life a little while ago, or things that you feel the time or chance for has gone. And that's causing you a lot of difficulties. With the Five of Wands showing up as well, you're feeling quite frustrated, quite held back. That's painful as well. That's really, really painful for you at the moment, especially because you also have the Five of Swords showing up. So you're head down at the moment. You're head down. And I feel that a lot of things are just kind of stuck for you. There's not one area of life that is moving for you at the moment. And I feel that's because you just need to be feeling at the moment. You need to be accepting what's happening. You need to be surrendering a bit. Doesn't mean that you're powerless, but it means that you need to go through this phase in order to get where you're going. This is kind of, it's a bit of a test for you. It's a bit of a test for you. I feel that you need to reach out to other people for help at times. Don't pretend it's not going on, but also don't necessarily dwell on it entirely. You see, I feel part of the problem is that you're up in your head around it. You're up in your head around it, and you're going, everything's hopeless. This isn't moving. This isn't moving. This is stuck. This has gone wrong. How awful. And it's not fun. But I feel so much of it is on the mental level. It's on the mental level rather than dealing with the one thing that does hurt down there, which is where you need to get to in order to work through it. Your final card is the Ten of Swords. So with the Ten of Swords showing up, I feel that you just need to relinquish a bit of control at the moment over the things that you can't shift, you can't move. You don't need to keep throwing yourself into things, putting yourself under strain, under pressure. You need to go easy on yourself this month, Libra. Allow things to shift over time. I feel they will shift over the course of the month, but you have to allow that to pass through you. You have to allow it to pass through you. Accept that it's a slow period, a slow time for you at the moment. And over time, things are going to become easier and start to shift. And you will start to feel a lot freer. But not if you fight and struggle against it needlessly or give yourself a hard time or anything like it. But I feel if you just allow things to escape, allow the thoughts to escape. So observe them, don't attach to them, accept where you're at, don't attach to it, don't judge yourself for it. It's going to get a bit easier for you as the month goes on. But you can't be getting too bogged down in the thinking about it, in the overthinking. I feel that's where you can get trapped otherwise, Libra. I hope that makes sense to you. Next sign is going to be Scorpio. Scorpio. The other thing, Ladybug, is that I wouldn't pretend to be an expert on ascension. Like, I'm in an awakening, therefore I'm moving along that path to the best of my abilities. I'm working on my own healing as well. And I can share what I know, and what also I can share what comes through to me psychically when I read for people. But obviously I'm not there yet. I'm not an ascended master. I'm somebody who is healing her own trauma and offering a service at the moment, you know? And I can add what I can from that, and I can share what I can, and there are other people who can add to that as well. But I think it's important for all of us to work with, you know, a range of trusted people, trusted healers, and so on. And none of us, least of all me, is a guru, and don't go looking for a guru ever. The last thing any of us needs is a guru. So next up is Scorpio. Yeah, some of the techniques that I've talked about are things that are being taught to me or gifted to me by healers that I'm working with. You know, they're not the end point, but they help. Okay, Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, the sense that I get is that you're in a healing phase, a healing process like a number of others, but there's a bit of pain associated with it at this time, and isn't that true for all of us? At the moment, with the Three of Swords coming up for the collective, that's why we're all kind of resting up a bit with the Four of Swords. And so, Scorpio, I feel that you have the Five of Pentacles coming up. So you're hurting a bit at the moment, and because you're hurting a bit at the moment, you might actually convince yourself that you're not as far along through this process as you are. And that's where this time can be deceptive. You can feel like you've slipped backwards, but you haven't. You're in a more advanced stage of this process than this. But you're also kind of quite fixated. I feel you're kind of looking really, really hard at your own progress. Where am I up to? How am I doing? Am I doing well enough? Is this enough? And you're watching the pot and waiting for it to boil, and you're watching the pot and waiting for it to boil. And you need to trust your own healing process just a bit more, with the Queen of Pentacles showing up for you. So there just is a need to go a bit easier on yourself at this time, Scorpio, because you're fixating on that and it's not necessarily helping you. You can relax and rest into it a bit more, because I feel like you are doing the work. You're doing the work, but then you're also kind of glancing around like that at the moment, and that's not too helpful, because then you're feeling unsupported. But I feel that's not necessarily where you're at. There's some old pain associated with this, with the Six of Cups coming up, and the sense that I get therefore is that you learned to be this hyper-focused. You learned to focus on this to the nth degree, and now you're almost like, I'm tired of this, I want it to be over. But it is a process for you, and I don't feel things are as bleak as you're making out, but you need to shift your focus away from observing, scrutinizing everything about yourself and what you're working through. I feel you have other priorities, other things you can be getting on with the Two of Pentacles, and part of this is also being kind to yourself, like nurturing yourself, healing yourself, mothering yourself, all of these things. Taking care of yourself, Scorpio. Taking care of yourself. I feel that will help you a great deal. I also feel that's where you need to be working on as well. And you need to recognize at the same time that there is healing available to you and that you are being supported throughout this process. I feel you have a big need to ground as well with the Two of Pentacles. I feel you need to get out, ground into nature, walk barefoot on the grass, hug a tree, whatever else is going to help you. But really connect to that ground, Scorpio. I feel that will make a huge, huge difference. And then you'll feel a little more supported as well, which is kind of crucial at this time. I also feel that as you get grounded and as you stop over-scrutinizing yourself in your own process, you're going to start to feel lighter and more able to connect to people, especially groups of people. So then you have the Three of Cups showing up, Scorpio. So I feel that's where you head towards during the month, is you start to open yourself to other people by taking the focus and pressure off yourself, allowing things to move more easily, working on your other priorities, not giving yourself a hard time, getting grounded, and then opening up to connection to other people and groups of people that will then lift you out of this. And then you won't feel so exposed and so alone with it either. I hope that makes sense to you, Scorpio. The next sign is going to be Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. And remember, if you're watching, please like the video, please share the video. That really helps. Sagittarius. Thank you, La Luna. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Remember, everyone, these are predictive readings. So they play out over the course of the month. Thank you, La Luna. Thank you all for the beautiful energy that you bring to this space. Sag. Okay, Sagittarius. Okay, mostly better for you, Sag. So you're a sign that's handling these energies a bit better at the moment. However, be aware that not everybody is doing quite as well as you in quite as solid a place as you, feeling quite as secure as you, because I feel like you might get in people's faces a bit and have a bit of an impact on them in a way that's not wonderfully healthy. So you're in a strong place. You have the Four of Wands showing up. So you're feeling quite secure, stable, protected, accomplished. You've achieved a lot. You might have got some recognition as well. That's a really strong starting point for you. However, underpinning this is the Seven of Swords. And with the Seven of Swords, you have this sense in which you feel like if you don't lay down the law to people or correct them when you feel they're wrong or anything like that, then you might feel a bit like you're not doing your job. So I feel like you might be spoiling for fights. You might be spoiling to fight on other people's behalf, which isn't always a bad thing. But I feel you might just be a bit too fighty at the moment, Sagittarius. And I know that's one of your traits. Just be aware that other people might be a bit more fragile at the moment. And so breathe and go a bit more easily. You're in this strong place with the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles and Four of Wands. So you don't need to be so... Like, you have the security for yourself. Not everyone does. And you might just want to be a bit softer and easier on people and help to support them. Bring it into balance, in other words. Bring it into balance and focus on moving yourself forward with the Chariot. You can express really well at this time. You're in this strong position. You've been doing the work. You have this strong base. You can go after things. But you can use that energy to carry yourself a long way, to fuel yourself, and if necessary, to help other people up as well, help them come with you. And you can also use it for the integration work that we've talked about, because all of that comes up with the Chariot. And I feel if you do that and channel that energy that way, then you can connect to people in a much happier way, in a way that isn't quite so antagonistic. And what you have there for that is you have the Three of Cups. That's where you head towards. So there's a lot of favorable outcomes coming, and you're one of them, Sagittarius, because this matches up to the Page of Cups. I feel it's more groups of people you'll be connecting to, potentially, and just being able to go out and have a good time with people. But it also means that you do focus on pushing yourself forward at this time. Don't let yourself down in that regard, and don't be too antagonistic, because you don't need to be this month. And other people are feeling it a bit more, and it might just cause difficulties that aren't needed, when actually you can move instead into this joyful place and feel stronger and in your own power without a need to give anyone else a hard time, Sagittarius. I hope that makes sense to you. The next sign is going to be Capricorn. Thank you, Joyous Day. So next up is Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Capricorn. First card has jumped out and jumped on the floor. Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn. You don't need to push yourself all that hard, Capricorn. I feel some of you are pushing yourselves. You're pushing yourselves really, really hard at the moment. And there's kind of no need for it. I feel like the things you're pushing yourselves quite hard in are things that you're not that inspired by, excited by. There might be things you've been doing for a while. I feel you're quite weary. I'm feeling leg weary in particular. So it's like you're dragging yourself through things at the moment. You're dragging yourself through things and you don't necessarily need to. You can give yourself more of a break, more of a rest. It doesn't feel like it's too awful on the mental or emotional level, but I feel like you just kind of push yourself, might be quite caught up in yourself a little bit. And I feel that you can just relax it a bit. I also feel that you might be keeping going this way because you're feeling like you have to protect your gains, protect where you've got to. So you have to keep pushing yourself. Otherwise, you're concerned it starts to fall down a bit, but I don't feel that it does. And I feel that you're expending energy unnecessarily at this time, Capricorn. So you can slow down a bit, calm down a bit, relax a bit, rest a bit. You do have the Seven of Wands showing up. So there's this sense that you feel like, I have to do this. I have to push myself or it never gets there. But I don't feel you do, because over this, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So with the Wheel of Fortune, really you have this need to just allow something to come to you, allow something new to come to you, and allow what isn't that fulfilling to fade away a bit. Allow the space for that, because something is coming. It'll probably come in quite suddenly, like a bolt of lightning as well. But how are you going to work on that if you're pushing yourself and tiring yourself out? So you need to just move a bit more into balance and alignment and be a bit more receptive with the Three of Wands. With the Three of Wands, I feel like you're supported. You can celebrate where you're up to. You don't have to keep pushing yourself or throwing yourself into walls. I also feel that when you do that, you might miss something coming in. You might miss that opportunity because you also have the Four of Cups showing up. So be very careful about getting your head down and just pushing yourself if you don't need to. Putting yourself under so much pressure, not allowing space or energy to take the opportunity that is coming your way this month, Capricorn. So you rest up, you go a bit more easy on yourself. And that frees up the energy then to connect to what you need to with the Ten of Wands. And with the Ten of Wands, I just feel like something new and something big comes into your life. But you're going to need the capacity to accept it, work with it, deal with it, allow it to develop. So that just needs you to pull back a bit. Don't push yourself so hard this month, Capricorn. There's absolutely no need. You're kind of wearing yourself out. You're doing so in a defensive way. That's not necessary either. You can relax into it a bit, just balance out a bit more, and then allow something wonderful to come to you. With that as well, I feel just be kind to yourself. Make sure you're eating properly this month. Make sure you're hydrating. And this is basic stuff, Capricorn, but do it. If that's you, then make sure you are, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. The next sign coming up is going to be Aquarius. Hi, Angel Moon. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season 2019. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Big changes for you this month, Aquarius. Maybe you're feeling them already. If not, it's like you've got a sense of trepidation, you know, something's coming. It's an area of growth for you. You're trying to hold yourself in balance as you come towards it. Your first card is the Eight of Pentacles. So something has been brewing inside of you, building inside of you, building up inside of you. You might have been studying, doing healing work, some combination of things feels likely. I just feel like there is this whole process within you. It's been getting faster and faster. And maybe you've been conscious of the individual parts of it, but what you've not been conscious of is the overall transformation taking place within you, Aquarius. But this is big. It's really big, and it feels like it's all coming together, and it's going to be deeply, deeply transformative to you in a way that might be quite shocking as well. So I feel you'll get a new impetus, new ideas about what you want to do, and I feel that other things will leave your life really quickly as well. Big shift, big change for you coming. Big understanding potentially of where you're actually heading towards. This can be purpose, or at least it can be your immediate focus for the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. I feel that's the shift that comes through for you. And it takes you away maybe from the things that you had felt that you were going to be doing or focusing on, or that you've been doing for a while. So there's a big, big shift for you to be ready for at this time, Aquarius. You might be a bit anxious around it, but you have to allow this change to take place. So with the Eight of Pentacles, it's something new coming up within you. It's all connected up. It's not separate from each other. The things you've been doing, all coming together, all a big process of healing, of growth, of transformation. Temperance also shows up, and with Temperance, I feel, therefore, when this comes up, you stare straight ahead. And what's coming up is the Tower. And this is a very, very different tower to what you normally see, because this is your old skin tearing off. This is something new bursting out of you. This is you transforming in a deeply dramatic way, Aquarius. This is hugely exciting for you. It's going to come potentially as a shock to the system, even though you've been building towards it for some time. It requires you to let go of old ideas, beliefs, concepts, and inner conflicts. As you see here with the Five of Swords. This stuff goes, the old goes because it's in the way, because it wasn't going anywhere. And you move into this space where something new comes up and you start to burst outwards. It's going to give you all kinds of ideas, loads of ideas, inspirations, insights, things you hadn't considered, hadn't thought of. You might need some time to work through them, but I feel that you'll be fast thinking, and I feel you'll also be quite fast acting, and that's okay. So I feel as the month goes on, this big transformation takes place within you, and then you move into action with the Prince of Swords. And this is going to be freeing for you. It's going to be freeing for you in a really, really dramatic way. As long as you work with it, as long as you accept that it's actually something you've built towards without realizing it, and now it's all bursting out. This is wonderful for you, Aquarius, but you need to accept it, allow it to free you, and follow it. That's going to come up this month. It's big. It's also potentially going to set up the next period of your life, if not even longer. So be wide, wide open and follow those insights and those ideas. and allow that to lead you into action, Aquarius. It's very exciting for you. Hi, LJ Lake. The final sign is going to be Pisces. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising for Aries season. Pisces. Pisces. Hi, Patricia. Okay, Pisces. Pisces, you're fearing the worst in a relationship. So maybe things have quietened down a bit. This might be somebody you've been seeing for a little while. You might have just met them, or it might be a longer term thing. But I'm feeling relationship, and I'm feeling that you're sort of like feeling like this person has just drifted out a bit. And you're feeling a bit unsupported as a result. And it's okay because you're feeling quite independent and confident, but then you're also sort of underneath it, sort of being like, oh, but I'm doing it by myself. Why aren't they around me so much? And it's probably because they're dealing with their own stuff. I don't feel like you have to worry too much or search too much. So there's a bit of anxiety coming in that's affecting you. That's something that you need to be working through. You know, these were amongst the collective cards. So that's a real thing, but it's kind of unnecessary. You're in a strong place with the 9 of Pentacles, and I feel that therefore your connection with this person as well has been growing, developing, is doing very, very nicely in the background. But you're quite focused on the immediacy. You're not focused on it, but it's getting to you. And I feel it's your first focus, but there's that bit of doubt. I'm not seeing so much of them. Maybe they're losing interest. This sort of thing with the 5 of Pentacles. But I don't feel that is really what you're dealing with. I feel like it's far, far more positive than that. The Prince of Wands is showing up for you. And there's 2 things going on with that. One is I feel like you might be dealing with a fire sign energy. So this could be Aries, could be Leo, could be Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising. And they're passionate and they go after what they want, but they can be a bit erratic at times. So they're like all over you and then you don't see them for a bit and that sort of thing. And that's something you need to work with. But I don't feel like it's a bad thing. I feel it's teaching you a bit more independence as well. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. And some of you also need to take on the role of the Prince of Wands a bit as well. Be the go-getter. Be the dynamic one. Not just in this relationship, but I've been going after other things because I feel this relationship is something you can count on. And I feel that it will strengthen as well. If you allow this person that space to go and do the things they need to bring the passion when they need to, but it's not going to be 200 degrees all day, every day, you know, then I feel things will deepen. I feel things become more joyful. I feel that you heal some old stuff as well, because I feel that part of that need for that attention is coming from a place with a bit of hurt, but you're healing it. You're healing it with the 6 of Cups. You're reaching into your past and you're healing a bit. And I feel as well as that, excuse me, you can stop being quite so serious all the time in this relationship. It's a serious relationship, but you can be more playful, more joyful, more loving, and offering your side of things and what you bring to it, and just allowing things to be a bit lighter and more flowy. If you do that, I feel the love really deepens with the Ace of Cups. I feel this gets deeper and it gets stronger. All you need to do is release your grip a bit. Yeah, your anxieties come from a real place, but you can work through and release them, because I feel like you're in a really, really good place here. A really, really good place. You're connected to somebody who's very exciting, who does excite you. There's no doubt they excite you. You can be playful with them as well. You're independent and the relationship is growing. And it can become wonderful. So, so deep, so, so heartfelt. This can really explode for you to become something quite amazing, Pisces. I'm really excited for you at this time. The only thing that stands in your way is your own anxiety around lack of attention or similar. And I feel that's something you need to feel. But I also feel it's old, and this is far more promising than that. I hope that makes sense for you, Pisces. And that is all 12 signs. I have time now to take a few questions. So if you have something you would like some guidance on, or a situation or area of life, can I ask you to pop your questions in the live chat, and I will see who I am drawn to at this time. Obviously, if you'd like a full personal reading, we can go into more detail on any of these areas or any other area of life. Please feel free to book me. My details are just in the box below. If my readings help you, please also feel free to leave me a donation or a tip to my PayPal, which is also in the box below. Please follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. And obviously, please subscribe and enable notifications on this channel. And please like and share the video. So let me see who I am drawn to. Okay, Teresa is asking, what does the universe have to say to me? Let me have a look for you, Teresa. Teresa. Teresa Blount. Does the universe have to say to me? Okay, Teresa. Okay. Okay, Teresa, I feel like you're very kind of focused on the present, the here and now, but you're focused on the present and the here and now in a way that maybe applies a few unconscious biases to it, in kind of a way in which means that you become quite focused on details, on looking for hidden meanings, this kind of thing. And I feel that it's very, very feely and you're expecting things to affect you a lot. I also feel that it's a bit of overkill in that direction, and there may not be that much planning for the future or that much opening within you to connecting with other people at the moment, but there is total space to do that. There's total space to do that, but you're kind of you're just trying to read too much into the things around you. There's this really fine attention to detail that feels a bit like overkill with the moon. And I feel that you can also get caught up in the exact moment at this time and derive too much meaning from it, when actually, rather than seeing it as a fleeting moment in time. I feel you're getting caught up in that. I feel that you might therefore get caught up in things for good or for bad. You might get caught up in feeling like somebody you meet is everything to you, or feeling like somebody you've been involved with suddenly doesn't care that much about you, and that can come from friendships and stuff as well. But that's not so real, so there's a need to get on top of that a bit. And it doesn't mean that you don't feel that stuff and observe that stuff, but it needs a bit of balance with justice. It needs a bit of balance with justice that just allows you to move things more into a slightly more balanced and rational space around that. With the Two of Cups showing up, I also feel that if you're doing that, you're opening more to self-love and to connection with other people, and you're trusting the people around you more as well. And that's hugely important, because I feel that as people, or at least one key person who has your back, and you can trust them more. And as you move into that space, you become more able to deal, more focused, more active, and more dynamic with strength. So this starts to allow you to do more. And I feel the thing that holds you back from doing more is that looking too much at the details at this exact moment and not seeing a bit more than that. I hope that makes sense for you. Let me see who else I am drawn to. LJ Lake is asking for an area of focus. Hi, super angry koala. LJ Lake. Okay, LJ. Thank you, Teresa. Okay. Okay, LJ, before I come to the cards, they've pointed me towards your father. I feel your father's been struggling a bit with ill health of some sense, and this could be kind of like something going on mentally, but there could be physical stuff happening as well. I just get the sense that your father's in slightly poor health, and you need to offer a bit of hope, because I feel like he's struggling. And when I say hope, I feel that it needs to be optimism. It's not so much about offering healing. It's not so much about being a carer for him or anything else, but it is about showing a bit of light and hope and optimism and bringing that into his life. And I feel that's something you might have shied away from at times, but with the star coming up, you are guided towards offering that kind of help. Now, what it's not about is the Empress. So you don't have to create things. You have to heal him physically. I don't feel that you have to be his carer or anything, but I feel you absolutely offer some light and some hope. With the Seven of Wands, I feel that he's somebody who you've not always been wonderful with. He's not always been wonderful with you. Your relationship hasn't always been the best. That's why that's proving a little tricky for you to face. But I feel you just need to go and meet him as he is now and offer that bit of hope and light. That's what you're being called to do. That means facing up to your anxieties with the Eight of Swords. It means dealing with the things that have held you back from having that connection, which could include difficult past experiences, really difficult ones maybe, but you're being called on to move out of that space and move into that area. That feels very, very important at this time. And with death showing up, I feel this transforms your relationship and it gives you a new perspective on things and allows you to connect far more closely. And this is very, very important work for you. I hope that makes sense to you. Let me see who else I am drawn to. There is this healing that has to take place with your father, LJ, essentially, that relationship, that bond, that tie needs that healing. And it's all about offering hope and light and seeing hope and light within it rather than the sort of nitty gritty of being a carer. I don't feel it's that. Let me see who else I'm drawn to. La Luna. Dear Zelda, I have a housing problem right now. Could you pull some cards for me about my housing problem? Can I have my own house soon? Thank you so much. Okay, La Luna. Okay, so the housing problem for La Luna. Okay. Yeah, but not yet. Not yet, basically. I feel like this situation is going to go on for a little bit longer. You're the King of Wands here, so this is about you kind of being in charge of your own life and this sort of thing. But what it's not is the Six of Wands, so I don't feel you get the resolution, the solution that you're looking for straight away. That's not where you're at. So you have to be strong, be creative, be focused in dealing with this. It's going to take some time. Your next step is the Seven of Pentacles. So you have to keep at this, keep working on it. With that, the Two of Wands tells me that you need to open up your options. And as you do so, the situation will transform with the Tower. I feel that it's about 2 months for you to find your way through this, find a solution to it. I feel you absolutely can. But that's kind of the main guidance for you at this time. And I hope that makes sense for you. Let me see who else I am drawn to. Mehari is asking, where have you gone, Mehari? I feel so much anxiety. Why? Okay, Mehari, let's have a look at your anxiety situation. They're telling me to change decks for you. Mehari is feeling anxiety. Mehari. Okay, Mehari. Okay, I mean, they've given me anxiety cards. The main anxiety, to be honest, is that you're not quite moving. You're not quite moving. You're allowing these things to sort of settle on top of you, but you're not making a lot of moves in the direction that you want to go, and that's causing you difficulties. That's causing you difficulties, and then you're telling yourself that you can't do anything yet, and then you're telling yourself that you've messed up by not making a move yet. By not doing these things, you're giving yourself a hard time. I feel that this is all about the mental space that you're occupying. And that sounds so rudimentary because, of course, with anxiety, it's about the mental space you're occupying. But you have the Four of Swords showing up, so you're not doing too much. The Seven of Swords shows up, and that tells me that you're then giving yourself a bit of a hard time over that as well. You're making this very, very focused. What you're not doing is moving. With the Two of Wands, you're not really starting the things that you need to be. And if you're not starting the things that you need to be, then you don't get where you need to be going. And I feel you have to start that work. You have to start that work. Treat this as a learning experience, but an active experience with the Page of Swords. So you have to follow your ideas, follow things. I feel at the moment it's all just getting kind of caught up in your head and you're not doing too much, and that's causing difficulties. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have to be focused on the project. It doesn't mean you have to go at a million miles an hour, but it means you start the work with the Two of Wands, you follow it to where it leads, and then I feel things are just going to feel a bit lighter and easier as you do that. I hope that makes sense to you. Let me see. I might have time to do one more. Let me see who I am drawn to. Hello, Nicole. Janine McGowan asks, Zelda, should I follow through and see the man I met last weekend? Let me have a look for you, Janine. To ask you what's holding you back from doing it already. Okay, Janine. Okay. Okay. I feel like you had kind of a nice time, and then not much happened. After that, maybe you've messaged a bit, or he's messaged you a bit. I don't feel like there's been much communication. And you're sort of like, I gave myself into this thing, and then it struggled, and what's going on? Three of Swords. It's where you're at the moment. So you're not liking this, so this is why you're not going after things. You're not liking it, even though I feel like you had quite a good time last weekend. You're then sort of like, oh, it's all gone quiet. So you're not seeing the way forward with the star. You're not seeing the way forward. You're not seeing the way forward. You have to create that way forward yourself. Prince of Cups is coming up. So if you want to see, ask him out, flirt with him, romance him, do whatever is necessary, but do that. It's going to help you. With the King of Cups showing up as well, you need to be on top of your emotions, on top of your stuff, not get... I feel that at the moment, like if the messages or whatever go quiet for a little bit, or things don't look quite right, you might be reading too much into them. And with the King of Cups, you're being told just be a bit smarter than that. Be a bit more together than that. Connect, offer love, and you'll receive love back. And this will lead you, at the very least, to a close physical connection. At the very least, with Pan showing up, this can lead to quite a close physical connection. I can't look too far beyond that, but it does look like you might have a good time if you do meet up with this guy again. And I hope that makes sense to you. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. If my readings help you, please think about leaving me a tip or a donation just below. If you'd like to book a full personal reading, please do so. I can work with you through any area of life. If you'd like to contact me to ask me any questions or to collaborate with me, please do so. I'm always happy to work with you on whichever way I can. Please like the video, please share the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, please enable notifications. Please follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, and if there's anything else I can help you with, please feel free to get in touch. I'm wishing you all a wonderful weekend and a happy and healing Aries season. Stay with it. It's not that easy for a lot of people, but you've totally got this. And if you need help at any stage, please feel free to get in touch. I'll be happy to do whatever I can. I'll see you all again really soon.